Okay, hello everyone. This is live from the void, number 3, and this is the BewareCast. Hope you're all well. Yeah, just before we get started, just leave a quick comment, just to let me know that you can see me okay, you can hear me okay. The contingency, greetings. Oscar, good to see you again. One silly Moogle made it just in time. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. We've literally just started. El Claudio, good to see you. Sackbot, welcome. All good, bud. Cool, thank you. Yep, awesome, awesome. Lunch tray 41, all ears. Great stuff. Cool. Yeah, we'll just give it a minute to let anybody join that wants to. Let any stragglers file in. How are you all doing then? You all good? All had a good weekend? Oh, Oscar's sent me a super chat. Thank you very much. Mr. Q, hear and see you good and well. Thank you, Oscar, and thank you for the super chat. Yes, if anybody wants to, the option to send a super chat is there. No obligation, of course, but every penny helps keep the channel going. Yeah, it's all really helpful. There's also a link to the Patreon as well. The Patreon's had a bit of an overhaul, actually. So if you're interested, you can head over there and support me for as little as £1, dollar or euro a month. There's 5 different tiers, starting from £1 a month or dollar or euro to 15 a month. And with that one, I'm going to start doing some video game playthroughs. And another idea I've had for that one as well is to do film commentaries as well. So I'll probably watch a film like The Thing or Event Horizon or Alien or, stuff in the wheelhouse of what the channel is about, what, kind of things I cover, and do a film commentary. I quite like the idea of that. So, yeah, I'll start doing those pretty soon. Let's see. Philip, still can't fully comprehend to see you. Does that mean you can't believe I've done a face reveal, or does that mean that you literally can't see me? Marcus, good to have you back. Hello again, everyone. I would have been here sooner, but I was away from the phone. How goes it? No worries, Marcus. I've literally not even really begun the stream yet, to be honest. I've just been doing the introductory stuff, so you haven't missed anything, don't worry. We've given it a couple of minutes. Looks like everyone who's going to join has joined. Philip says the reveal. Ah, yes, yeah. I know. I've had the channel going for almost 4 years, and I thought it was about time did the face reveal. Trying to push the channel into new, exciting territory and push myself out of my comfort zone as well, so I thought this was one of the ways to do it. Yeah, Oscar says Event Horizon or Deep Rising are 2 movies from my VHS days I really liked. The VHS days, they're brilliant. I had so many films on VHS. I had the Alien quadrilogy on VHS. Brilliant. Classic. There's nothing quite like it, is there? That's why I put that sort of VHS scan lines effect in my videos, because it's just really nostalgic, but also kind of eerie at the same time. Something about it, isn't there? Cool, right. So, yeah, it looks like we've got a good audience here. 14 viewers. Very nice, very nice. So, this stream is basically about 2 things. The first is a sort of celebratory thing, because the channel last week reached 75,000 subscribers. So I want to say thank you to all of you, because I'm guessing the majority of people watching this stream are subscribers. I can't thank you enough, really. 75,000 subs is way more than I ever thought I was going to get. I thought when I started the channel it might peak at around 10,000 subs, if that. But 75,000, it's blown those expectations right out of the water. And it means I'm 3/4 the way to getting one of those YouTube plaques that you get when you reach 100,000 subscribers. You might have seen other YouTubers have got those. I'm not going to pretend I'm too cool to want one of those. I'm not going to say, I don't do it for the this, that and that. No, I'm not. I'm not too cool. I do want one of those plaques to go on the wall of my study that I'm in. I think it would look really cool on the wall. Excuse me. So yes, that's the one of the things this stream is for. Celebrate that, but also the main event is to talk about the All Tomorrow's Redux sneak peek that came out last week. So I hope you've all done your homework. I did put a community post on the channel with a link to the video. It's read by Alt Shift, who did the original. Like, if you like me, you discovered All Tomorrow's through his video that went crazy viral. I think now it's got something like 18 million views on that video, so it's a huge video. And that's how I discovered All Tomorrow's back in, it feels funny to say back in the day, but it was 4 years ago, wasn't it? So he has done the reading of this excerpt of the All Tomorrow's Redux, and it's I'm not sure if it's the entirety of chapters 5 and 26 or if it's just parts of them, but there's some very interesting stuff in there. Before we get on to it, I'll just read a few more comments. Lunchtray41 says, are you going to discuss the status of the signed book sales and the new book? I've been dying to get my hands on that book so I can get other people into your awesome story. Cool. So with the signed book, that's the original version of All Tomorrow's. That's, I believe, is being released in August, so next month. And yes, I've ordered the signed copy as well, signed by the author, which is very, very cool. But yeah, as far as I know, it's next month when it's being released. Cool. The Contingency says, congratulations, Mr. Q, truly. Thank you very much, The Contingency, and thank you for subscribing. Yes, thank you, El Claudio. Sackbot says, thank you for making very interesting content. Well, I couldn't do it without you. With no subscribers and no viewers, there's no channel, so, I should be thanking you. Daniel, yes. Excuse me. Daniel, hello, welcome back. Good to have you back. Marcus says, I was the one who introduced him to All Tomorrow's. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how it went. I think the bulk of the fan base were introduced by Alt-Shift-X, but there is a slither of it that I introduced to it, because a couple of my videos, I mean, the audiobook that I did, 4 years ago, not long after the Alt-Shift-X video, that's reached over 1 million views, and so is my timeline video as well. That's over 1 million views now, so there's quite a few people that have found it through my channel, if I do say so myself. Not bragging or anything. It's not really anything compared to what Alt-Shift did, but, I'm pleased I could, help in some way. Daniel, sorry if I'm a little late. I was just watching a video. No, it's cool. Like I said a minute ago, we've barely started. I've just been doing the introductory stuff. Toby Linsell, good to have you. All hail the Holy Kuanim. Yes, I know. There's some real interesting... There's not much mention of the Kuanim in this excerpt that I'm going to be going over of the sneak peek, but they are mentioned. So, they're just as formidable as they've always been. Leo Nilsson, good to have you. Welcome. Will you do a new audiobook when the book comes out? I'd like to, but because, I did the original one, that doesn't mean it's a given that I'm going to be doing the new one. I'm inclined to think that when the new one comes out, it won't be me, it'll be Alt-Shift, because he's done the reading of this new sneak peek. So I would imagine it's going to be him. Which, that's fine. I did the first version. He's going to do the second version, probably. As far as I know, I've not been contacted about anything like that. But, it's... the thing is with this one is it's not a free book that CM Kozeman intends to give away like the original was. This is something he intends to sell. And Alt-Shift, he gets way more views. He's got much wider reach than I've got on his channel. So from a business perspective, it makes sense to go with him rather than me. It's a shame, but, it's just... you don't get picked for everything, do you? It's just the way it goes. Just got to roll with the punches. I'm just looking forward to buying the book personally when it comes out, which I think, based on some rumblings I've heard, is probably still not going to be for 2 or 3 years, because it's a big, heavy tome. This one, far more substantial than the humble PDF that the first version was. So yeah, but I would like to do the reading, but I don't think it's going to be me, to be honest. Kev 233. I've not got my glasses on, so I'm having to squint to look at the screen. Kev 233, welcome. I can't remember which I saw first. Yours is more thorough. I mean, yeah, you know, I was dedicating more time to it, to be honest. Alt Shift did one video and kind of moved on. He generally covers like Game of Thrones and stuff like that, and House of the Dragon, so different stuff to what I do. He just did the one video. I spent a lot more time on it, so yeah, I was quite a bit more thorough. Will there be a Spanish version or more versions in other languages of the book? I don't know, to be honest. I'm guessing you mean the new version that's coming out. I don't know, to be honest. You'd probably have to ask CM Kozeman about that. He's on Instagram, he's on X, he's everywhere. So I'm sure you'll be able to get hold of him and ask him. Contingency says, actually, I kind of like how they're being renamed to the Kuanim, since it has very religious connotations and they view themselves as gods. So thematically, the name fits, in my opinion. Yeah, true, very true. You know, it's there are heavy religious overtones in the story, and it's they do see themselves as gods. They're kind of, in the original book, it says they're religious zealots, and you know, that's kind of their whole deal. Really, they consider themselves the gods of the entire universe. So you know, they're gonna do whatever they like. Oscar says, cool to see some more saying, Mr. Q. Not quite sure I follow you there. Let's see. I've just had an error come up here. Can you just confirm I'm still coming through, because this little error message is causing me a bit of concern. I just want to make sure I haven't cut out or anything, because that would be a real shame, seeing as we've just got started. Let's see. Viewers will experience buffering. Oh, right. Let's see. I think we may have had a bit of a technical issue here. Just a quick lag spike, I think. Yeah, hang on. Let me... yeah. My internet's dropped out. That's annoying. Hopefully it'll come back soon. Steve. Hi, Steve. Good to have you. Yep, can see and hear you. Yeah. I think it's just... my internet dropped out temporarily. Let's see. Oscar says the contingency also called you Mr. Q. Yep. The name's catching on, I suppose. Contingency, everything's fine. The stream paused for a bit, however, but all is working well. Cool. Okay, as long as it's a little buffering. My internet. Yeah. Just having some network problems. That's... oh man, that's annoying. Just as we were getting going. Hopefully it'll just reconnect itself soon. Blue Team Medic, hello to you too. Good to have you. Right, we will get on to the Ultimaris Redux in a sec. I just want to make sure my internet is... yeah, it says no internet. So let me... you know, probably it's because I'm using a VPN and that makes things a little bit unstable. I should have disconnected that before I started the stream, really. I'm just going to do that now. Hopefully it won't cut out the stream. If it does, hang tight and I'll start a new one. Because, you know, I would hate for this to be messed up because of a mistake on my end. So just bear with me. Right, okay. I think we might be back. Yeah, if you could just confirm that everything seems okay now. Because I've got my internet back. Yeah, it says internet access. Just, yeah, fixed. Awesome. Thank you, Leo. Yeah, so it's alright. I don't know how to pronounce Cyrillic, I'm afraid. But, yep, good to have you. Let's see, seems all good, awesome. Right, okay, we're back on track. I'm back on the air. So yeah, it's all good here in Brooklyn. Hey, cool, Brooklyn. Nice. Everything's fine. Hello from Ukraine. Hello to you too. I said Cyrillic earlier. I don't know if that is still Cyrillic. Pardon my ignorance. Hello from Sweden. Nice. Cool. Yeah, got a good broad range of people. We've got Brooklyn, we've got Sweden, we've got Ukraine. Yeah, awesome. I'm guessing Oscar is in Norway because he sent a super chat in Norwegian kroner. So, very nice, thank you. And again, it's Cyrillic. Yeah, cool. Good. Israel. Nice to have you, Daniel, from Israel. Australia. Cool. I've got fans everywhere. Okay, so I've been blathering on for ages. Glasgow, right? Yeah, you're not far from me. I'll say not far from me, relatively speaking, compared to Australia and Israel. You're not far from me. Oscar, use that currency. Yeah, cool. So, okay, right. Without further ado, let's get on to the All Tomorrow's Redux sneak peek. And like I said before, I hope you've all read it, or, well, listened to the video that I posted in the community post. Live in Romania. Oh, you're from Romania. You're from Colombia. Wow. And you use Norwegian kroner. You don't want to be tracked, do you? Let's see. Siphon, you're in Newcastle. You're, not, again, relatively speaking, close to me. We're a small country. Missouri, another from America. Nice. Cool. Okie dokie, right. So, oh yeah, I will just say, Oscar was kind enough to send me a super chat before. If anyone wants to send me a super chat, no obligation, but it's very helpful. Helps keep the channel going. Or you can join the Patreon, the link is there. Right. The All Tomorrow's Redux. So, what we got was a sneak peek of chapters 5 and 26, I believe. I've listened through the video twice. It's an 11-minute video, so, I managed to... I listened through it twice. Once yesterday, once today, to refresh my memory. And chances are I'll probably forget some things. I'm just doing this off the cuff, so bear with me. If I forget anything, let me know in the comments. So basically, chapter 5... it concerns the human beings kind of after the aftermath of the Earth-Mars war. That still takes place in the new version of the book. So that plot point is still there. And it concerns human beings called... well, I can't remember exactly what they are. They're on Venus. They're people who have... they're the descendants of people who colonized Venus. But I can't remember the name it uses. It isn't Venusians, it's something else. But it's about them and their society, the way they live. So basically, humanity at this point, after everything is settled with the war, all the instability is over, and things have kind of gotten back to normality, the people on Venus, they have a certain societal structure. And basically it's a group of townships, and they have perfected the art of terraforming, and how to terraform worlds to human needs. And each township on Venus is kind of a self-governing body. There's no like widespread bureaucracy or technocracy or anything like that. They don't answer to Earth or Mars. They govern themselves, and each township has its own focus. So one town will be researching one thing, another will be, designing and constructing a particular artifact that they need. It's described as an artifact in the excerpt. And basically, the way they do things there is each township has a king, and the king is chosen randomly by lottery, and he's in charge for a while, and then when his term is over, he leaves and then goes into the wilderness to live as an ascetic. So they, they're pushing the boundaries, and they're making great strides in things like poetry, philosophy, all kinds of things, all the things that make a civilization, basically. And so they're doing all that, and at this point, as far as I can tell, the Kuanim haven't shown up yet. So, and that's quite interesting, because this is chapter 5, and the Kuanim haven't arrived. So that means there's 4 chapters before this. And I'm wondering obviously it'll concern the Earth-Mars war. It'll set the stage and everything. But there's going to be a lot there if there's 4 chapters worth before the Q even show up. And they don't show up in chapter 5 either. So there's a lot there. Like I said, this is going to be quite a hefty tome when it comes out. A real, something to really sink your teeth into. And it just goes, it just tells you about their society. And basically, the people who have served a term as a king, as kings, they go off into the wilderness, but they're not content to just live in the woods, live by lamplight, because they've adopted a kind of medieval, from the sounds of it, a medieval lifestyle, which is quite cool, and something I see happening in the future, because what we have now, a huge global technocracy, bureaucracy, it's not sustainable forever. There's too many working parts, there's too much going on, too many people involved. Eventually it's going to collapse, and we'll revert back to a slightly more quote-unquote primitive way of life. So that's what's happened on Venus. But the people who were kings, they're not content to live like that forever. They want to go out into the universe and explore. And they call themselves the Star People. So that's interesting, because it looks like it's a different origin of the Star People to how it is in the original book. Because in the original one, they're created by Earth and Mars scientists after the Earth-Mars war, because the people of Earth and Mars, they've become so different through they've diverged so much in their development over the hundreds of years that the Martians have been on Mars, that they just can't see eye to eye with each other anymore. So to prevent another massive war, they create the Star People. But in this book, it looks like it's just a group of people who have served as kings. They've gone out into the wilderness to, they leave the society behind, but they want to go out into the universe and explore, and they refer to themselves as the Star People, which is very interesting. So it's like a self-given moniker, which is that's an interesting change from the original story. I think it sounds very, very, very cool, very interesting. It's going to be a lot more detailed. I'm wondering if in the previous chapters there's going to be some political intrigue, because with a war there's obviously politics involved. So are we going to see the sort of machinations of Earth and Mars while they're sort of trying to deal with each other and square off with each other and things like that? That's going to be interesting to see if that's in there. I don't know if it is, but that would be a cool bit of world building there, I think. Before I go on, let's have a look at some comments, because we've had a few since I've been talking. Right. So, Venetians, thank you, CS Pathy. Does that say? Yeah, CS Pathy. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on, like I said. I'm squint to see the screen. Yeah, very space feudalism. Yeah, that's right. Contingency. I think that's the perfect way to describe it, really. And I don't know if we'll make it to space or not, but I think a return to feudalism is probably what's on the horizon for us. Not, next year or anything, but maybe in 500 years, 600, maybe 1,000. I don't know. It's hard to put a timeline on it, really. But what we have now isn't sustainable forever. It's too big, too many working parts, too many people involved. The whole thing is going to, either come grinding to a halt, or it's just going to be a gradual collapse. And feudalism is our future, probably. Let's see. We've become the Vogon from Hitchhiking Guide. I'm not familiar with Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I'm not massively familiar with it. It's one that I've been meaning to read and should have read, to be honest, but haven't yet. But I want to. So I'll get that reference once I've read the book. But I'm guessing I'm guessing they're like space feudalists or something like that. Steve says, nice, can't wait to delve into the world. Yeah, me neither. There's going to be a lot there. Let's see. Johnny, welcome. This is one of my favourite stories of all time. Yeah, it's a very good, very imaginative, very weird, very original story. I'd never seen anything quite like it when I first encountered it. So I was immediately captivated by it. And it inspired me to create this channel. It was if I hadn't found that Alt-Shift-X video, none of this that I'm doing now would be a thing, I don't think. So it's crazy how just one chance encounter can spark an entire thing. The contingency says, I'm hoping we get to learn about the automatic weapons used during the Earth-Mars war, to be honest. Yeah, it briefly describes the weaponry used in the original, I think, and it sort of says that it's not, it's not Star Wars, basically. It's not one-man fighters and heroic acts and stuff like that. It's like a terrifying, nerve-wracking, just these immense mega weapons that just, it's precisely calculated, and it just hammers the opponent, and that's all it is. It's a dreadful affair, which is more accurate. It doesn't romanticize war or stylize it in any way. It kind of states quite matter-of-factly what a horrific thing it is. So I'm guessing the new one is going to do the similar thing, more detailed, but it's not going to be like Red 5 standing by or anything like that. Let's see. Johnny says, quick round question. Do you think you would ever review the story I Must Scream and Have No Mouth? Love to see a video of it. I did do a audiobook of that a while ago, but it got taken down because the estate of Harlan Ellison is incredibly litigious. He was a very litigious guy when he was alive. Excuse me. He would sue literally anyone for anything. I've heard a story that I think he did sue somebody. This was in the real early days of the internet. I don't know if this was in like 1996 or 97 or something. But somebody, I think, posted some of the story online, and he sued them for it. So his estate is carrying on that tradition, and I got sent an email saying, take this video down. So sadly, that video is not available anymore, which is a shame, because, if I'm honest, I'm not a huge fan of that story. I think it's just kind of, it's a good story as in it's well written and anything. It's an interesting premise, but I just found it to be a little bit mean-spirited, personally. That's just my opinion, though. Plenty of people like it. That's why I originally did the reading of it, because I got a lot of requests. And I can see why people like it. It's just not my cup of tea, personally. Let's see. Awesome Guy LOL 2012. Welcome back. You were here last time. Hello to you too. Let's see. Steve says, I totally associate your voice with CM Kozeman's work. I think a lot of people probably do, to be honest. I've become the All Tomorrows guy, which I'm not upset about in any way. It's quite flattering that people do associate me so closely with the book. But I've been doing other things recently, for quite a while actually. But yeah, I guess I am sort of the All Tomorrows guy unofficially, and people probably do associate me quite closely with that book. CS Paffy says, the way drones are being used these days, seems like Star Wars might not be too far off. Yeah, true. I mean, drone warfare is being used already. I won't talk about that at length because it's a depressing subject. And these streams are for chilling out, hanging out, having a good time, talking about interesting, cool stuff. So Toby Linzel. Good to. I'm not sure if you've commented already, but I can't remember. But if you haven't, welcome. Good to have you. Says, does CM Kozeman still say that the Kuanim are a hive mind, so are in a sense one individual? I think that is heavily implied. I've read some sneak peeks about 8 or 9 months ago on the channel that CM Kozeman he emailed me and said I could read them if I wanted to. And I think it doesn't specify exactly, but I think it's heavily implied that they are a hive mind. They essentially start off as larvae, and then these ones they're not just the form that we've seen in the previous book. They become all kinds of different things based on the environment, what's required of them, what opponents they're coming up against, etc. But I think they do just still operate as a hive mind. Which makes sense. I've made some videos about. I made a silly video quite a while ago about a day in the life of the Q. That was more just for a laugh, really. It was still interesting to think about, and I pondered on whether there were Qs that had individual minds and didn't agree with what was being done to species across the universe. Probably not. There's not anything to that, but I would assume they still operate as the hive mind. Awesome Guy says, what do you think if the Q came back when the Gravitals were attacking? That would be an interesting matchup, to be honest. Saying that the Q do have about 1 billion years head start on the Gravital, and they've mastered literally everything you can think of. I don't know if the Gravital had reached that level of technological prowess. If they had, then that would be probably the matchup. That would be the galactic war to end all galactic wars. Yeah, so that would be. I don't know who would win. I'm still inclined to think the Q would win just based on how long they've been around. They've mastered the art of warfare as well. So, and undoubtedly they would have come across in their hugely long history, they probably would have come across machine type beings as well, like the Gravital, other species that had mastered quantum computing and uploaded their minds into machines, things like that. They've probably seen it all, to be honest. Let's see. CS Paffy, having a bunch of little cheap guys trying to swarm around the important command cargo station seems to be where the meta is at. Yeah, that makes sense. Yep, Oscar says, of course you're the All Tomorrows guy. I know, I am. I don't mind that at all. Quite happy with that, to be honest. See, CS, in modern day, success as a writer is having a YouTuber being more associated with your work than you. It's a blessing I hope to have one day. Yeah, true. It's like, because there's a lot of channels that are dedicated to one thing, and people just really think of them when they think of the series. I'm trying to think of an example. I don't know if this is quite right, but you may know of the YouTuber named Alien Theory. He's like the alien guy. So he's the alien guy. I'm the All Tomorrows guy. It's cool. It's cool to be some sort of guy, I guess. I'm happy with it. Let's see. Rayandos, welcome. Good to have you. Do you watch CM Kozeman's stream? I haven't for a little while, but I used to watch his streams quite a lot. He had some real interesting, he would talk about all sorts of speculative evolution and history. There was one about intelligent, this is from several years ago, intelligent, I can't remember if it was hadrosaurs or something like that, but I've not watched this stuff for a little while because I've been doing a lot on my channel. The new style of videos that I'm making take up a lot of time, and I'm having to work a lot more now. So I've not watched him for quite a while. I should, because he does streams all the time and does really interesting videos and stuff. So I'm going to have to get back into watching his stuff. The thing is with streams is if it's like 2 hours or something, it's not often I can find 2 hours spare, and it's not the kind. His isn't the kind of stuff you just stick on in the background and chill out. It's it's deep, intelligent stuff. You've got to focus on it and give it the attention it deserves, and I've not really been able to do that just from being so busy. Let's see. Steve says, I've just started watching Isaac Asimov's Foundation adaptation on Apple TV. Have you seen it? It seems quite epic in scale. I didn't even know that was I didn't even know they'd made an adaptation of that, to be honest. I don't have Apple TV. The only streaming service I have is Netflix. And I tend not to watch a lot of TV and stuff, really. I tend to just watch films. Generally, they're films that have been out for a little while. So, I don't know, I'll have to check that out. I've not read much of Isaac Asimov either, to be honest. I do know he came up with the 5 laws of robotics. So I'm sort of familiar with him, but I've not read his stuff. So there's too much to read, it's too much to read, too much to watch, too much to see. Awesome Guy says, what do you think if modern people meet the All Tomorrow's humans? So, do you mean the star people? I mean, in the original story, the star people were created by Earth humans. You're asking about modern humans, I think, aren't you? Where's the comment gone? Modern people. What would the reaction be? I don't know. A mix of reactions, I suppose. There would probably be those who just flip out and go crazy and riot, because it's not what they're used to. There'd be others who are really interested in hearing what they have to say. I think I would be one. I would be among them. I'd try and get an interview with one on the channel. that would be pretty interesting. Just a mix of reactions, really. I can't imagine there's. Some would react violently. Some would react calmly. Some wouldn't care. That's the best answer I can give, I'm afraid. Toby Lindsell says, I wonder if the Q deliberately went easy in their warfare with the Star People, considering they could probably wipe them out in a day to assess how they should judge each colony they come across. Yeah. I mean, they could have wiped them out, but I don't think wiping things out is really their style. They tend to be more about changing things. So they'll come across a species that if they haven't come across it before, they'll look at it and they're like, we didn't design that, therefore it's wrong. So we'll make a few changes here, and then disappear and leave them to it, which is apparently, well, I think they stick around for a while and watch over them. I guess, I don't know why, to gloat over them maybe, or to just observe their handiwork, or, I mean, a lot of species where, I think, like, so for example, the rot eaters, they're the ones with the beaks. They were first created as sort of bird-like species to populate Kew Gardens. So they use living things as ornaments and decoration and things like that. So yeah, wiping stuff out, I don't think that's really their deal. They prefer to just change things to their liking. Daniel says, I always wanted a spin-off for the amphicephali. I always wondered what they originally looked like. I mean, yeah, they're unconnected to humans, so the only picture we have of them is that one. So it briefly outlines their evolution, I think, in the original story, and says it was it, if I'm remembering correctly, was it two species that kind of formed a symbiosis? Because it's like one whole body coming out of the mouth of a bigger body. So I'm not sure, I can't remember if it really outlines their evolution, but they've gone through numerous changes, self-imposed genetic changes throughout their species lifespan, which I think is, in the billions of years range. So I'd like to see more of them. I wonder if they'll appear in the new story. That would be cool to see, and see more illustrations of them. Let's see. Steve says, I don't have Apple TV either. Ooh, you naughty boy, naughty boy. No, to be honest, I do the same thing. I won't say the name of the website. I don't know if I could get in trouble, but yeah. Yeah, I know where you're coming from, mate. Let's see. Awesome. I meant the ones that were changed by the queue. Ah, okay, right. Well, people would react with horror. I suppose a good way of judging that is to gauge people's reactions from the comments on the All Tomorrow's videos. There's a lot of people expressing feelings of disgust at what they're seeing, and that's just an illustration. So seeing that in person would provoke an even more visceral reaction, I'm sure. Again, there would be those who are just interested and look at them and like, wow, that's you're an interesting looking fellow, Mr. Snake person. But again, it would be a mixed reception. Let's see. El Claudio, that's why the uncanny value exists. Yeah. Uncanny Valley, yeah, that's. I mean, I didn't get that from All Tomorrow's at all. I thought all the illustrations in that were extremely cool, and inventive and weird, and I liked them all. However, when reading Man After Man, I got serious Uncanny Valley feelings from reading that. It's grotesque, Man After Man. I did a video quite a while ago. An unscripted one, when I went through a phase of doing unscripted off-the-cuff videos when I was reviewing books and things like that. And I have a video called either Man After Man is gross or Man After Man is disgusting. And I expressed my feelings in that video because Man After Man just, like I bought a physical copy of the book. Very hard to get hold of, but I managed to find one for a real good price. I was really happy. But yeah, the illustrations contained within, when I look at them, I feel queasy. I really do. They just make you feel bad inside. You get a sickening kind of feeling from it. I do anyway. So that's, yeah, exactly. Uncanny Valley. Didn't get it from All Tomorrow's, did get it from Man After Man. Riando says, do you make your All Tomorrow's fan-made... Do you made your on All Tomorrow's fan-made post-human species? I'm not quite sure what you're getting at there. Do you make your... Oh, okay, I think it's... Do you make your own All Tomorrow's fan-made post-human species? No, I don't. Because, one, I'm not very good at drawing. I used to be very good at art when I was at school, but I didn't carry on with it after leaving school. and I'm out of practice. I'm incredibly rusty, so my drawings aren't very good. Second of all, I think other people are more imaginative than I am, I suppose, in that regard, and probably a bit more attuned to the scientific side of things. So anything I made probably wouldn't quite hit the mark, if I'm honest. It's not really my strong suit, so I've not done that. I did experiment with making, like using the AI art generator things online, like hotpot.ai and stuff like that, just as a, I was a bit bored one afternoon, ages and ages ago. I had a little go, but you know what AI art is like. It's just, it's not great, so it didn't really turn out like anything worth showing anyone. So I've not done that. I'm sure other people have. Other people have. I've done the video on All Other Tomorrows, which was a continuation of species that in the canon died out. But, that's somebody's idea of what they would evolve into. So plenty of people are doing it. I've not done it because it's just not really something that I'd be particularly good at. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just gonna put my glasses on because I can't see the screen. You're gonna just laugh at me now because I'm wearing my glasses. They're not very nice ones. I want to get some slightly smaller frames, to be honest, but I'll just wear them for now. See, the fifth big guy, welcome, good to have you. Do you think the amphicephali got modified by the Q? It's possible, because the Q get everywhere, They're like, they're like just your average pest, really. Just a really intelligent, hyper-intelligent, billion-year-old pest. They get absolutely everywhere. So it's possible they may have come across the amphicephali at some point. I can't remember if the book specified that. I don't think it did. But, it said they'd gone through lots of genetic changes over their lifespan. So, and it did, I think it did mention self-imposed ones. So it's possible if self-imposed was specified specifically, then non-self-imposed is probably also there. But again, I can't quite remember what the book said. Contingency, in my opinion, the amphicephali were the Q's next target after humanity. Possible, yes. Because the amphicephali joined forces with the astromorphs. And the Q showed up again. So I suppose they would have been a target of the Q because the Q would have been aware of them when they went to war with the astromorphs again. The astromorphs were in league with the amphicephali. So yeah, they probably would have been. I bet they would have relished the chance to get hold of them and change them into something new and even weirder than what they are. Steve says, I think the Q's most terrifying creations are the ones with their intellect left intact. Yes, like the colonials and the mantelopes, trapped in bodies and forced to live horribly depressing lives. The colonials forced to eat Q sewage forever. Great. And the mantelopes trapped in bodies with intelligence, but they're mammalian, camel-like, horse-like forms, and you can't really do much in the way of, you can't do much with your hands when all you have is hoofs. So, again, equally torturous. But eventually, the intelligent ones gave way to the less intelligent ones, and then they just reverted to an animal-like state. So, kind of worked out for them in the end. They didn't have to suffer forever, mind you. I don't know how long it took for them to get to an animal-like state. So, yeah. Tell you what, I'm just going to have a swig of water. I will be back in just a moment. Thank you for bearing with me. Cool. Ukrainian guy, I'm just going to call you Ukrainian guy if that's okay, because I can't read Cyrillic, says, "Ooh, I'm halfway through your Man After Man audiobook. Interesting stuff." It is interesting, yeah. It's. I mean, I've criticised the book at length, but it is an extremely important book to the genre. You know, speculative evolution would be a much poorer place without Man After Man. And I've given it guff in the past, but I do really respect it for what it is. And it was an influence on All Tomorrows as well. So, you know, I can't knock it too much. Yes, he continues, "It can be creepy, but I do feel rather the same vibes as All Tomorrows. Very humanitarian, despite all the horrors." Yeah, that's the problem I had with Man After Man, was it's kind of a bit misanthropic. It's just kind of takes the view that humans are terrible, they've got no redeeming features, and all this bad stuff happens to them. They kind of deserve it. Not in those words exactly, but basically that's the gist of it. Whereas All Tomorrows is much more hopeful. It's much more, you know, like the final line of the final chapter says, "Love today and seize all tomorrows," which is a nice message. It's like you say, it's a lot more humanitarian. Awesome guy. "Well, it's my time to go." Yeah, good to have you. I'm glad you were able to come along. Hope to see you again next week. Take care. Contingency says, "I beg to differ. Your art from the book The Telescope is, in my opinion, quite good. Better than mine if we're being realistic." Oh, thank you. That's very nice of you to say. I suppose what I'm doing when it comes to my art, is I'm comparing it to others, to Man After Man, to Wayne Barlow's Expedition, to All Tomorrows, to other online projects like Serena, the World of Birds, and it just my stuff just pales in comparison to all of that. So if I'm going to put something out there, it needs to be in the same league as that stuff, I think. That's why I'm considering not including artwork in my book. I'm thinking of doing it just as a Last and First Men by Olaf Stapledon style instead, where it's just the book, and I'll just include very in-depth descriptions of the alien life. You know, just because I'm just not that. I just don't think my art is quite good enough for, you know, public release, in my opinion. But I do appreciate the compliment. Thank you very much. And it's cool that you checked out The Telescope as well. So I'm guessing I wonder if you saw that on the members, because I think I released that to members and Patreon. No, I did a video about it, didn't I? Of course, a public video. Yeah. Okay. I just remembered that I did that. Ian says, referring to the question if modern humans met the post-humans, say, if you saw a lopsider or an asymmetric person scrambling towards you, you'd most likely freak out. I think you would. Yeah, no, that's a fair point. I would freak out big time if I saw any of these things in real life. If I was given some prior notice, say if there was like the news, excuse me, if the news was saying these weird future humans have arrived on Earth, I'd be like, oh, okay, see the images of them, video of them. Okay, cool. But if one just jumped out at me from out of a bush or something, certainly would freak out. Ukrainian guy says, Ukrainian guy is fine with me. By the way, those glasses suit you. Thank you, Ukrainian guy. Yes, we've got nicknames, I guess. I'm Mr. Q. You're Ukrainian guy. Oscar says, did you see my last message? Don't mean to nag, just curious about your opinion about if you had seen it. Sorry, Oscar, I must have missed that one. Let me just scroll through. Let's see if I can find it. All I'm seeing is The one where you say, of course you're the All Tomorrows guy. Don't know if it's before that. No, I'm not seeing one. Not seeing one, Oscar. No, sorry. It's not. Doesn't seem to be. Try sending it again. Oscar, the video. I mean, I'm not sure. I don't seem to be able to find that one. Very sorry, but if you just send it again, I'll spot it this time, hopefully. Steve says, All Tomorrows is the only speculative evolution work that has struck a chord with me. Man After Man, even the various TV series, never really piqued my attention, even as a lover of sci-fi. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, All Tomorrows is quite unique. And, yeah, it's quite different to all the others. The others mainly concern animals, so, like you said, the TV series, that'll be things like Alien Planet, which is based on Wayne Barlow's expedition. There's The Future is Wild as well. Again, that's future animals and things. If it's not your, if it's not your scene, that's cool. I like all of it. But All Tomorrows did capture my imagination and a lot of people's imagination. Much more so. So, yeah. So, let's see. We've been going for almost an hour. And I haven't even come to chapter 26 of the All Tomorrows Redux yet. So, let's get on with that. That one is interesting in that it details the blind folk from the original book, but they have a new name now. They're not called the blind folk anymore. They're called the whistling people. And that is because after they've been remade by the Q, who it does detail slightly that the Q basically drop Q larvae who infect the blind folk and the star people as they were, and change them into what were called the blind folk but are now called the whistling people. And they use sort of echolocation type communication, which makes sense because they live in underground caves. It's dark. They don't have eyes. They still have retained the big ears, the big whiskers. So they're, as far as I can tell, there's no images yet, but as far as I can tell, they look quite similar to how they looked before. What else is cool about that chapter is it details some of the animal life that they that are in these underground caves that the whistling people live in. And it talks about sort of crocodilian albino fish that are predators, and gigantic bat-like creatures that prey on them, on the whistling people. So it's cool to get, and all this animal life isn't natural either. They're all QAnim creations too. So that's another interesting point. Trying to think off the top of my head what else there was in the chapter. I mean, yeah, it's kind of that they still are wiped out the same way. It's the tectonic plates of the planet shift and end up crushing them in their massive underground environments that were originally created by the Star People to evade the Q. They hid underground to get away from them, and so they're still there. It seems like the basic outline of them is still there. It's still kind of the same story in that regard. It's just more detailed. As I said, I've only listened to the video twice, so I'm just trying to remember what some of those details were. Anybody who has listened to that video, leave some comments with some stuff that you remember that stood out to you. Okay. Steve says, if you're posting a link to a video, YouTube will automatically delete it. Yeah, okay, that's seems to be a thing. YouTube doesn't like links being posted, so yeah, I'm not going to be able to see that, I'm afraid, Oscar. Contingency, you forgot to mention the spacer living, growing environment from chapter 5. Yes, I did forget that, actually. That's another interesting thing. Because in the original story, the Spacers were an evolution of Star People who evaded the queue and hid inside of giant hollowed out asteroids. This time it looks like the Spacers are a thing before the queue even show up, which is a different. It's taken a bit of a different direction there. I suppose the Star People modified themselves to be like that. And from the description we're given, they still seem the same. They've still got the really elongated limbs and pincer-like digits on their hands. They still float around in space. It says that they have all different dances that they do, different social dances with their family, with the people they work with. So that's an interesting social aspect that I'd be interested in reading more about, because that just makes them, obviously it's human in a way, but kind of alien as well. But not really alien. I mean, that's been a thing. I think, there's tribal people do, obviously they have dances that they do for specific reasons and things like that. So I suppose I'm just thinking of it from the Western perspective, but it's in the future it's all going to be different, and dances are making a comeback. Pretty cool. CMBR, welcome, good to have you. Says, I absolutely love your video on All Tomorrows. Thank you. Yeah, got quite a few videos on All Tomorrows. I'm glad you like them. Oscar says maybe it was because I used the channel name. What was the video, Oscar? Just type the name of the video, and I'll check it out later. I won't be able to check it out on screen because when I've got this thing going, OBS for the streaming, it doesn't produce any sound because I've got the microphone plugged in, so it doesn't let the speakers work. So I won't be able to watch anything on stream anyway. But I'll check it out after. If you can post what it's called. Ian says, speaking of Wayne Barlow, did you know of a book titled Barlow's Guide to Extraterrestrials? If I remember, I recommended it to you a while back, and it seems up your alley. I'm aware of that book. I've not bought it yet. I think I looked for it on eBay, but it was a bit pricey because it's a rare book, so I didn't buy it then. I'd kind of forgotten about it as well, actually. I'll have to look for that and see if I can find an affordable copy, because it's interesting. I do love the artwork of Wayne Barlow. The stuff in Expedition is extraordinary, really imaginative. I really like his use of colour in Expedition. It's a lot of blues and reds and purples, and it's just brilliant. I really like it. Oscar says Command. So is that the name of the video? Command. Well, I'll make a mental note of that, and I'll check it out. Sounds like it might be an interesting thing. Tell me about it. What's Command about? Let's see. Yeah, been going for just over an hour. It's not too bad. Yeah, I really like doing these streams. Let's see. Oscar says no, ignore Command. Okay, all right. Yeah, yeah. Just stick the name of the video in the chat, and I'll get around to it. I really like doing these streams. When I did the very first one, I was really nervous, but when I finished it, I was on a bit of a high because I feel like it went really well. The second one, I was a bit like, it didn't go as well as the other one. But this one, I was barely nervous at all before I started. So, I think I'm just getting into the swing of it now. I'm getting used to it. I'm enjoying doing it. So, regular Monday night show that I'm doing now. See, Rayando says, I find it weird the Gravitals killed off all post-humans and spared only the bug faces. Will it make more sense if they captured a few of every world they conquered? Depends what their motivation was, I suppose. Because, the Q were all about changing, modifying, shaping things to their liking. But the Gravital just had like an arrogance about them, as in they were the true heirs to the Star People, and none of the others were, so they wanted to wipe them out. It is funny how they spared some of the bug faces, though. I don't, there's probably many theories on why. Maybe they just captured them as slaves. Maybe it was something as simple as that. They just needed some workhorses to do the things that the machines weren't really interested in doing anymore. So, yeah, maybe it I suppose it is kind of weird that they captured them and wiped out all the others. Audio Curtis. Oh, Audio, yes. Good to have you, Audio. Yeah. If you haven't, guys watching, if you haven't seen it yet, check out his short story. It's called, I think it was called The Art of Gene. Oh, what was the last word? Put it in the. I really like the story, and I'm embarrassed that I can't remember the full title. Yeah, the art of gene, not gene splicing, but it was a really, really good, grotesque short story. I did a community post, to recommending you go and watch that video because it's a really good story. The last time I was that disturbed, in a good way, by a story was when I read I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. Even though I've said I'm not a massive fan of I Have No Mouth, but this one I am a fan of because it's just really inventive. I won't spoil it for you, but the basic gist of it is it involves two aliens who create art out of living things. And they find this guy who's absolutely obsessed with plastic surgery and, perfecting himself with plastic surgery. And they get to work on him with rather grotesque results. So, yes, go and check out. The Art of Gene Twisting. That's right. That's what it's called. Thank you, Audio. I'm sorry I couldn't remember that. Couldn't remember that last word. I think it's because it's late. Here it's 10:30 at night, so I'm just a bit tired, and I've got a bit of a cold as well, so I'm not feeling tip top. So that explains it, I think. Anyway, I didn't read your original comment. You said I set up an alarm for this, and I was still an hour late. Typical YouTube. You hit the bell icon, and it won't recommend it until the stream is long over, or 2 days after the video has been, made live. That's just YouTube, doing its thing, doing its usual thing. Let's see. The contingency says, "Oh, I've seen that video." Are you referring to the Audio Curtis video? Yeah, really cool theory. That's all I'll say on the matter. Cool. Subtle Fiend, welcome. Good to have you. Wait, are the Q human? No, I don't think so. There is one video theorizing on whether the Q are human. That one did go viral. I'm not entirely convinced by that theory, to be honest. Mainly because Mr. Kozeman, the author, has said that basically the Q are just a literary device. They're not really meant to be anything more than just what sets the main story in motion. So adding lots and lots of extra layers on, like are they actually human and things, would muddy that. So I'm not, it was an interesting video, but I'm not convinced by the theory personally. Yeah, cool. Yeah, thanks for dropping in, Audio. Anyway, that's it's good to have you. Good to have you here. You did write a really cool story that I really liked. I've been meaning to check out your other stuff as well because you've got a lot of interesting looking stuff on the channel. And I don't know if it was you who did the reading in that video, but that was superb work. It was excellent. The voice acting was great. Like with some audiobooks that I've listened to. Excuse me, I'm just going to cough a sec. Sorry, I do have a cold and a bit of a sore throat. Anyway, yeah, some audiobooks that I've listened to, the narrator doesn't really do distinct voices for the characters, and you're kind of a bit of a loss for who's speaking at any one time. But your voice work in that was great. Yeah, you know, again, I'm bad with names, let alone made up alien names, so I can't remember the names of the two aliens in it. But you know, very distinct voices for each one. The younger one had a sort of yeah, da da da, sort of like that, and the other one was more gruff. It was, yeah, it was great voice acting, is what I want to say. I do appreciate you asking if I would like to do a reading, but to be honest, I couldn't add anything to it. You know, you did a brilliant job. There's not really anything I could do to improve upon it or add anything worthwhile. So what you did was pretty spectacular, to be honest. You should be really proud of it, and I'd recommend everyone go and check it out. The contingency. Oh, sorry, Oscar first says that was what I asked about that video, but the message didn't go. I guess he did make a good point on deep time. I see. Contingency says I'll go check out Art of Gene Twisting after the end of the stream. Again, much like Flesh, which I can confirm was cool. It seems right up my alley. Yeah, definitely check it out. It's a really, really good story. Yeah, it's a disturbing one. It's very original. You know, if you like All Tomorrows, you will like that story. Audio says, yep, that was me. I used to be a singer in a rock band, so performance comes easily to me. Oh, cool. Yeah, I can tell you're a natural at it. That's definitely, you've got a gift for it, I think. Yeah, you definitely did a brilliant job on that. Let's see. Rayando says, who is more evil, the Q or the Gravital? Different kinds of evil, I suppose. The Q are evil because they just rock up and then start messing about with your genetics, which sucks. But then the Gravital just want to wipe you out. So both evil in different ways. Depends if you'd rather be dead or live as a weird monstrosity. It's all subjective, I suppose. Contingency says Q. Q to you too. Yeah. So, yeah, this has been a good stream. I've really enjoyed this. Contingency, once this is done, go and check out that book. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I've forgotten about in the sneak peek of the All Tomorrow's Redux. There probably is quite a lot that I've forgotten, to be honest. No doubt, as soon as I press end stream on here, about 10 different things will come to me. It's like, should have mentioned that, you know. But it's the way it goes, I suppose, when you try to do things off the cuff. So yeah, looks like we've been going for a good amount of time. There doesn't seem to be any more questions or comments or anything. I'll give it another minute. So if anybody wants to get in any last minute questions or comments, now's the time. But other than that, I'll say thank you very much for watching. It's really it's an honour that you come and you watch these streams, that you watch my channel. You know, there's a lot of stuff on YouTube that you could watch, and you choose me as one of the things that you watch. You know, it's not something I'll forget in a hurry. It's very touching, and you know, I just really appreciate it. So thank you very much. Let's see, the fifth big guy. I hope these streams become a regular thing. Get better soon. Thank you. They are a regular thing. I've decided I'm doing them every Monday at 9:30 p.m. British time. I'm not sure what that is in the various American time zones. I can't remember if you said you were in America or somewhere else. But 9:30 p.m. UK time, every Monday there's going to be a live stream. It's the new schedule I've settled upon. New video every Friday at 7 p.m. Live stream every Monday at 9:30 p.m. Same bat time, same bat channel. So, yep, on a Monday at this sort of time, come along. I'll be here doing a live stream. Not always about all tomorrows. I like the one I did last week was about the new Jurassic World film because I'd just seen it. So it'll be about just general things that interest me, or things that are sort of current and are within the scope of the channel. But I don't mind talking about all tomorrows. That's fine. We'll talk about anything really. If you want to ask questions about anything at all, that's totally fine. Yeah, thank you. Well, get well soon with that cold you have. Thank you, Contingency. Yeah, who gets a cold in the middle of July? It's typical. I mean, I had a real bad one back in wintertime. I think it was in like February or something like that. It was awful. I was knocked out. I mean, it was more than a cold. It was bad flu. And I was like knocked out, not for 6, for like, 2 weeks, nearly 3 weeks. It was dreadful. And then when that was over, I thought, I don't have to worry about that for another year. July comes around and I get a bad cold. So, it's just the way it goes, I suppose. But, I've had it for about 3 days now and it seems to be getting better. So hopefully this will be a quick thing that I'll be over soon, all better by next week for the next stream. Toby Lindsell says, would argue the Q are far more evil in their mindset and motivation, but what the Gravital do is somewhat more evil but with less malice, evil intent than the Q. Yeah, it kind of, the way it describes the Gravital, what they do, I don't want to use the G word on stream that rhymes with Benocide, because I don't know if YouTube will flag it and demonetize me or something for using a controversial word. But the way it describes them in the book is that they were basically just, to them, it was akin to like weeding your garden or calling the exterminator or something. It was seen as quite trivial. So not outright malice. The Q, it could be argued, were extremely just malevolent and evil, whereas they were, it was very personal with them, but with the Gravital it was very kind of impersonal, and not really like but then again it said that they considered themselves the true heirs to the Star People and the others weren't, so there was some malice there, but maybe not as much as the Q. Skinwalker 34, good to have you. Hello, welcome. Do you think there will be new illustrations in Redux? Absolutely, yeah. I've seen, if you join CM Kozeman's Patreon, he's put some concept art of the new illustrations he's going to be doing for the new book on there. Yeah, it's getting, the whole thing's getting a complete overhaul. New, it's going to be rewritten, new artwork as well. So yeah, there's going to be all new stuff in there. Blah blah blah. Welcome, good to have you. Says, I've listened to a good deal of your works. Thank you. As a person with speech problems, I wonder, do you have any corrected speech problems? No, not corrected. Although I don't have any diagnosed speech problems, but I've suspected I may have a very slight speech impediment. Sometimes I wonder that. I don't know if I do. Like when I listen back to myself on my recordings, I think that sounds really strange the way I said that. Is that? But it didn't sound like that when I was saying it. I don't know if I do have anything like that. I've suspected, but I'm not diagnosed. Not 100% sure or anything on that. Ian says, have you seen the Maker's video on Barlow's Guide to Extraterrestrials? No, I haven't. The Maker, I'm not familiar with that one. I'll have to... is the channel just called Maker or The Maker? If it is, I'll look it up, because I do really like Wayne Barlow's Expedition. That's up there among my favourites, to be honest. Not just Spec Evo, but books in general, art books in general. That's a really good one. That's a personal favourite of mine. So yeah, I'll probably check out that video, I think. Yeah. Well, I appreciate all your questions and comments and everything. This has been a much bigger audience this time than I had in the previous two. I suppose if things continue to go well, the audience will grow with each stream. I hope you're enjoying them. I hope I'm able to be at least somewhat entertaining and enjoyable to watch. I suppose if you've stuck around this long, that must mean that I'm doing a reasonable job of things. Blah 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 says, I'm also a big fan of the Terran Trade Federation books. I've heard of them, haven't read them. Definitely something I'll have to check out at some point. There's just too much to read. My shelf is just full of books that I haven't got round to yet. Yeah, we live in an age where there's too much to read, too much to watch, too much to listen to. There's just, cool it, creators, with the stuff. Give me a chance to catch up, please. Greetings from the Arctic Circle, Frozen Roses. Wow, the Arctic Circle. Cool. Wow, very cool. Welcome, Frozen Roses. Yeah, if you're commenting from the Arctic Circle, then Frozen Roses is it's a very apt name. Blah 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 says mostly art books. Yeah. Rayando says, what if the astromorphs are not extinct but created a new dimension and mass emigrated to it? Yeah, that's kind of something that the end of the book gets at, in that it's a mystery what happened to them at the end. Did they die out, or did they emigrate to a different plane of existence? Did they develop so much that they were being constrained by this reality that we live in? Were they just too advanced for a mere three-dimensional universe? Who knows? It's a possibility. We'll probably get more of an idea in the upcoming Redux, I think. So we've been going for about an hour and 20 minutes ish. So still got a good amount of viewers. I think we'll call it a day soonish. We'll give it a few more minutes. So if anyone's got any final last minute questions or comments, now is the time. The contingency says Zeely sequence has some strange posthumans, non-humans. Not saying you should read it, just a little factoid on Zeely sequence. Yeah, that's something I've been meaning to. That was written by, I can't remember his name. I can picture the guy, bald, glasses. I think he's a physicist, isn't he? If I'm thinking of the right guy. And I think I referenced him in a recent-ish video I did about, what was it? Something like the end of all things in sci-fi futures. And I think I referenced him in the Zeely sequence there. Even though I've not read the books, I was doing research. And that's definitely something that seems like I would enjoy it. It seems like hard sci-fi, with him being a physicist. If I'm thinking of the right guy, that makes sense. He's going to go real in-depth with the sci-fi. We'll see if I'm bright enough to follow along with it when I finally get round to reading it. Ian says Maker. That's the name of the channel then. I'll check that out. It was Maker's video on Barlow's Guide to Extraterrestrials. Yeah, I mean, that book is all about all kinds of... It's got like things from Star Wars and Star Trek and things like that, if I remember correctly. So it'd be cool to see some... if I'm remembering that right. But it'd be cool to get that book and have a look through it. Rayandos That's all. Thanks for your time. Yeah, thank you for watching, Round Us. Really appreciate you coming along. I don't think you were here for the last couple of streams. You're a new name, which is cool. It's always good to have new people on board. So thank you for coming along. Audio Curtis says that new dimension idea kind of reminds me of the Araloo from Star Control 2. Not familiar, I'm afraid. There's a lot that I'm not familiar with, apparently. See, have you watched ITV's 2007 to 2011 Primeval with the future predators, future descendants of bats that have become Earth's dominant apex predator? I watched some of that back in 2007, which, I mean, 2007, that was 18 years ago. I can't believe 2007 was 18 years ago. That's crazy. But I did see I caught a few episodes of it, but I can't remember anything about it, to be honest. So I'll have to, 2007 to 2011, so I'm guessing there's probably 3 or 4 seasons of that. A lot to catch up on. I'll have to give it a try, though, when I get some time to watch something. Contingency says, question on the telescope. That's my Spec Evo project that I'm working on at the moment. Question on the telescope. Are you still creating it? If so, I wish you luck and hope you finish it. I am. I'm kind of... I've written... I think I'm probably about a third the way through writing it, so it's not going to be out for a while. I was hoping to have it out this year because I started work on it back in November or December of 2023. So about a year and a half ago. I was thinking a year would be plenty of time to get it done and get it out. But no, I'm not even close. I'm only about a third the way through. It will come out eventually. I can't give a release date or anything just yet. But it's coming. It's coming. And hopefully it'll be a good read when it does finally release. Let's see. So looks like that's all the questions and comments, and we've been going for nearly an hour and a half. So let's call it a night there. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming along to Live from the Void. That's the name of this regular Monday night stream that I'm doing, and it is regular every Monday. I'll be here doing a stream. I do really appreciate you all coming along, and hopefully you'll be back again next week if this one has been somewhat enjoyable to watch. I'd love to have you all back, and I really appreciate all of you coming along and watching. So yeah, thanks again. This has been the BewareCast, and I will see you next Monday. Well, I'll see you on Friday for the new video. I'll tell you what, I'll give you a quick rundown of the new video actually before I go. It's one that I just finished recording about an hour before I started this stream. So I've recorded the voiceover and the on-camera parts. So I just need to edit it, with all the footage and everything now, the visual component. But it's slightly different to what I've done before. It's about identity horror. And it talks about 5 different films that all deal with the concept of stolen identity, usurped identity, things like that. And I do some sort of movie analysis in it as well. I'll give you the 5 films that I talk about in there. There's The Thing, The Fly, Possessor, which is a good 2020 film about techno assassins, basically. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, I talk about that in there. And also the 2013 film Under the Skin with Scarlett Johansson. And they all deal with identity in different ways. And this video I'm working on now is one that, once I got it recorded and listened back to it, I was quite proud of it. So I'd really love for you to check that out on Friday when it releases. It's going to be around 22-23 minutes long, so a good length video again. So check that one out on Friday, and then after that live stream again on the following Monday. Yeah, so thanks everyone for coming along. Contingency, see you on the other side. Yeah, I'll see you then on the other side of the void. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care. See you next time.